The American Council of Engineering Companies of Colorado 2020 annual meeting. First time we're really doing this in a virtual format, so might bear with us just a little bit as we figure things out here. Should be really exciting next hour as we go through all this. So I am Brad Doyle, ACEC Colorado's current president. We are glad you've joined us here this morning as we celebrate a busy past year with many highlights. And I look forward to what's going to happen over the next few months and the coming year. So before we begin, though, just a couple of housekeeping notes regarding our first time digital format. This meeting is being recorded and will be available on our YouTube channel later this month. You've probably noticed that all participant audio is muted and your video is turned off. We ask that you keep the settings this way for the duration of the meeting. Finally, we will have time later to address any questions or comments. So please feel free to type those into the chat box at any time during the presentation, and we will take time to cover those at the end of the meeting today. So next, I'm pleased to take a moment to recognize our corporate sponsor firms for their continued support, including USI Insurance Services, Kins Reproductions, and Initial IT, who all are Diamond level sponsors. The Colorado Real Estate Journal, who is our media partner, Brain Consulting, and the Unfound Door, who are both Gold level sponsors. So thank you all for your continued support of the council. So now a special group of members are called to serve as officers and directors. I'm pleased to take this opportunity to thank our 2019 to 2020 officers and directors who've served with me. It has been a pleasure and honor to work with you. I look forward to serving as the past president in the coming year with those who will be continuing on or joining the board. At this time, though, let's recognize those who are leaving the board. Following completion of their terms this year, which include our past president, Craig Watts of IMAG, our national director, Elizabeth Stolfus of Stolfus and Associates, our Metro director, Janet Williams of LRE Water, and North director, Wayne Thompson of CTL Thompson. Thank you each for your service in the council over the past years. So now, I'm used to doing some applauses and things like that. So, congratulations, everyone. And thank you for your time. So now I'd like to spend a few minutes talking about the state of the council and a few of our accomplishments this past year. So, it has been a crazy couple of months, and as evidenced by the fact that we're having a virtual annual meeting today. And ACEC Colorado has pivoted with the necessary changes. I am amazed at the actions the ACEC Colorado staff have taken to keep the council active and how quickly everyone has responded to provide information and support to all of us. The last time we were all together was at our inaugural Innovation and Infrastructure Summit, which immediately after the closing of our luncheon on Friday that week is when Governor Polis announced the initial ban of gatherings of 250 people or more. So talk about timing. I think we might have been one of the last conferences to have existed in Colorado. Since then, ACEC has changed how we do business in general to rapidly respond to your needs. First, special thanks to the ACEC Colorado staff who helped us stay relevant and keep members engaged during this crisis. These individuals include our Executive Director, Marilyn Raymer, Deputy Director and COO, Heidi Gordon, Membership and Communication Director, Ann Footle, Education and Finance Director, Dana Mansell, and Membership Concierge, Brenda Walters. So looking back over the past 12 months, exactly what has our association accomplished? We've been very active and as a board and members, we've actually done quite a lot. For one, we have changed our approach from being somewhat of a reactive organization to being definitely proactive, allowing us to be industry leaders rather than just followers. So highlights that a few highlights that demonstrate that we've accomplished in the past year include we've adopted a new 3-year strategic plan, which also aligns with the ACEC National new strategic plan and focuses on 5 goals. First is advocacy. This means being the voice to advance, protect, and promote public policy and build public and private sector relationships. Next is professional connections. We aim to maintain an engaged membership representing diverse sectors of consulting engineers. The third goal is firm success, which will mean providing the resources and opportunities to support firm and career successes. Fourth is to bring public value, to demonstrate and communicate the value consulting engineering brings to the society. And the fifth goal is organizational excellence. Through this, we'll maintain a vibrant ACEC Colorado membership organization in way of leadership and resources. So you'll hear a lot more details about those strategies and tactics of that plan in the coming months, since, as you can imagine, because of the pandemic, our staff and leadership have had to quickly adjust to better fit with the new normal ahead, and to kind of address some of these immediate needs. But we're excited to get working on the strategic plan in the coming year. Also, through the strategic planning process, we determined the need to adopt a new mission statement, which you'll start seeing in our materials. It reads simply, to advance a business environment that helps consulting engineers firms thrive. So moving on to more accomplishments over the past year, I'll start with several of our advocacy efforts. We expanded our liaison opportunities with the City and County of Denver's Department of Local Affairs, the Colorado Department of Transportation, the American Public Works Association of Colorado, the Colorado Smart Cities Alliance, and the National Utility Contractors Association of Colorado. We participated in several meetings with the Colorado Underground Damage Prevention Safety Commission to develop a best practice document that the commission will use for subsurface utility engineering and depiction of underground utilities. We have continued discussions with legislators at the state capitol, at our fall legislative breakfast, and at our spring legislative day. We talked with them about energy efficiencies for buildings, the need for transportation funding, the need to expand broadband and the general grid, and changing arbitration and statute of limitation laws that have detrimental effects on future development. All of this advocacy work has demonstrated that when we can convince an entity to work with us, we can find common ground to understand with one another, learn each other's limitations and find workable solutions. So moving on to public awareness highlights of the year. We launched the Colorado Engineers Week in coordination with the National Celebration. This included a program for business owners on Denver's new green building codes and green code and building code amendments, as well as free public screening of Dream Big, which is an excellent movie that illustrates the value of engineers bring to our quality of life. We also had a very successful Engineering Excellence Awards program and continued broadcasting podcasts through a new partnership with the Colorado Business Roundtable. There were several of us that have been able to participate in that, and it's been a great success. So finally, we also held 2 programs that provided members with media relations, tips and tools, which are invaluable to our efforts towards influencing decision-making on the value of engineering. And in some of those, we learned how to, a whole bunch of ways to say no comment, but also how to bring positive reaction to media relations. We also broadened our educational offerings this past year with a full launch of the new Business Practices series. Topics included everything from business development to small talk to risk management in contracts to project team communication. We've had 64 employees of member firms are in the process of finishing our annual leadership development program, and that's at the levels 1, 2, and 3. In order to meet the obligation of the stay-at-home orders, ACEC has quickly moved those to an online delivery platform that still allows for the same interaction, that you would get in the full class in the breakout group. So that was a very quick effort that they did to be able to keep things moving along and working well. Next, we also changed the format on our previous 2-day Transportation and Environmental Professionals training to the well-received Innovation and Innovation Summit. This allows us to address infrastructure more broadly, instead of just focused on the horizontal space, but to include all segments of our membership, both of those in public and private markets and those in vertical and horizontal design. Looking forward to future events and when we continue to grow and build upon what we accomplished there this past year. Finally, as we introduce students to consulting engineering as a career of choice, I would be remiss in not mentioning the success of our ACEC Colorado Scholarship and Education Foundation that was established in 2018. This year, we awarded in-state scholarships totaling about $25,000. Those went to high school. They went to high school bridge building contest winner, as well as 7 college students who are in the field of studying engineering. So in closing, I thank each of you for allowing me the privilege to serve as your president this past year. We've undoubtedly faced some challenges, most significantly those related to the pandemic. In these unprecedented times, I am proud of how our association has kept us as members informed of changing developments regarding COVID-19 at both the state and national levels. The council staff has worked behind the scenes to contact agency clients to encourage them to continue with construction and plan projects during this crisis, and have asked that they also continue to pay promptly, since cash flow and keeping the cash moving is a priority to all of us. Our board was able to hold a virtual town hall with Senator Cory Gardner to provide him with feedback on important elements needed in the CARES Act to help firms, several of which that were incorporated, several of our conversations were incorporated into the legislation. We've also held weekly digital member meetings, the fireside chats, and are committing to continuing those as long as there is interest and a need to keep doing so. We're also changing the delivery and content of much of our planned education to better serve your needs right now. Through all of these state as well as other national and resources, I hope you agree that now, perhaps more than ever, the value of the ACEC membership really shines. So I want to thank you all for everything you've accomplished and for sticking together and for keeping things moving for our organization and our company as a whole. So with that, it's now my privilege to transfer the gavel to our new President, Karlene Thomas, who is a professional engineer with Pinyon Environmental, who I've had the pleasure to get to know and work with over the past few years. So, Karlene, I'm going to virtually pass the gavel over to you. So here you go. And with that,
I got it.
and with that, I'd like to turn the presentation over to you. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Brad, for your hard work as president throughout this past year. It has been a pleasure working with you. And to commemorate your service, dedication, and commitment to ACEC Colorado, you will be receiving a handmade glass statue soon. And hopefully we'll be able to soon meet in person. Now it is my honor to introduce your 2020-2021 Board of Directors who will serve with me during my presidency. Please turn on your video and audio as I call your names. Our officers are Vice President William Green of the RMH Group, Secretary Treasurer Gray Clark from Moeller Engineering, ACEC National Director Peter Monroe from IMEG, and past President Brad Doyle of Atkins. Our Denver Metro Directors are Dean Bradley of Felsberg, Holt, and Ulvig, sorry, FHU, Kara Swanson of David Evans and Associates, and Jack Peterson of Martin Martin. And finally, Greg Kishiyama from Farnsworth Group. Our South Director is Scott Asher from Wilson and Company, and our North Director is Daniel Overton of Engineering Analytics. And finally, but not least, John Sikora from AECOM. Now we will proceed with the installation of officers and directors. As officers and directors of the American Council of Engineering Companies of Colorado, you are assuming a position of prestige and authority. With that prestige comes a responsibility to the council and to the members who have elected you. Although this is a position of voluntary leadership, you have made a commitment to serve this organization, which will require a great deal of time and dedication on your part. As duly elected officers and directors, do you agree to uphold the code of ethics and professional conduct guidelines of the American Council of Engineering Companies of Colorado?
I do.
I do.
I do.
Do you agree to perform the duties of your office to the best of your ability in accordance with the bylaws of the council?
I do.
I do.
Congratulations, and I truly look forward to working with each of you in the year ahead. And we're all clapping virtually. All right, I think that means I'm up. So thank you again, Brad, for your efforts this year as president. Sorry, did we lose video? Are we good,
No.
Brad? We're
Yeah.
good? Okay, I got a little note saying, host had stopped your video.
Oh,
Let's start
I think
again.
you're good.
All right, again, thank you, Brad, for your efforts this year. You've set a high bar to follow. We all look forward to your continued support in your position of past president in this coming year, and know that I have your cell number on speed dial. Also, sincere thanks to the many people that have helped me in the past 13 or so years of involvement in ACEC Colorado, especially Lauren Evans, my boss and now business partner. Without her encouragement to become involved in ACEC, I would not be standing or sitting here today. I've been a member of the council since 1999 and started serving on committees in 2007, before beginning my tenure on the board in 2015. Now I am extremely honored to serve as your president during the next 12 months. We as engineers are a force to be reckoned with. We go about our careers solving problems on a daily basis. It's what we do, it is what we're good at. Over the last several years, I have been involved with the U.S. Engineering Change Lab, actively looking at the future of engineering. I recently attended the Engineering Change Lab in Houston and was impressed by one of the provocateurs, Guru Madhavan, a PhD in biomedical engineering at the National Academy of Engineering. He talked about 3 different types of problems that we are faced with. First is a hard problem. These problems have a technical solution with minimal impacts from human behavior. We as engineers are very good at solving these types of problems. For example, how do we connect an African village with services on the other side of a river? Of course, we build a bridge. An inspiring example of a hard solution was the construction of a 190-foot suspended footbridge over the Musamwa River in Rwanda. A team of 10 women from Parsons and Kiewit, in partnership with Bridges to Prosperity, built the bridge, providing access to vital services for a community of 6,000 people. The second type are soft problems. These problems have the added complexity of significant human behavior impacts. So solution is both technical and social. For example, Stockholm had significant traffic congestion. A typical solution would have been to add capacity by building more roads and bridges, but this is a hard problem solution. Instead, they brought in systems engineers that added thousands of sensors, documented conditions through photography, and interviewed citizens. The problem was not solved, rather it was resolved by solutions such as peak pricing. The third type are messy or wicked problems. These problems have complex interconnections, including major human impacts, cultural and social concerns that are difficult to explain, and lack of clarity. In addition, they are subject to real-world constraints that prevent multiple and risk-free attempts at resolving. Messy problems are approached with intense collaboration and system solutions. Not only do conventional processes fail to tackle messy problems, they may exacerbate situations by generating undesirable consequences. Messy problems are not solved, nor are they resolved. They are dissolved, only through new approaches to decision-making that go beyond the traditional technical problem-solving and cost-benefit analysis that engineers are so good at. Some examples of messy problems are poverty and hunger, terrorism, and pandemics. We are living in a time of messy problems. Just a very long couple months ago, I may have talked about infrastructure funding, but we are in the middle of a more substantial messy problem, a pandemic. It has devastated so many lives as the competing factors of fear and public health, misinformation and information overload, protection of the weakest members of society and financial collapse, individual freedoms and common good clash as we try and dissolve this messy problem. Some of our very own local members are helping design and construct emergency hospital facilities. MIT engineers, doctors, and computer scientists published an open source design for a ventilator with costs at just $100, as opposed to up to $30,000 for typical hospital ventilators. Only by us as engineers stepping up, becoming involved, and transitioning from hard problem solvers to system thinkers and collaborators will we be part of the dissolving force. I am a hard problem solver. I like my problems all wrapped up in a nice little package. How do we step outside of this role and out of our comfort zones? If you attended the recent ACEC Colorado Infrastructure and Innovation Summit, you probably heard Professor Agnes Steib with Transform Me speak. He teaches us that each of us has a transformation gene, maybe hidden deep inside. Professor Steib explains that, quote, our bodies and minds have been evolving through thousands of years. Over all this time, we have accumulated deep and insightful inner wisdom about what change means and how it happens, end quote. Our biggest obstacle is ourselves and knowing how we and our brains work. He encourages us to be curious, which leads to awareness, which then leads to knowledge. As we activate our transformation gene, we can make lasting change to ourselves and to society. Brad mentioned that ACEC Colorado has a new strategic plan and a new mission statement, which is to advance a business environment that helps consulting engineering firms thrive. I believe that the key to thriving in uncertain times and in an unknown economy, an unknown future, is to push the envelope. My goal as president of ACEC is to advocate for engineers to be messy problem dissolvers, to transform ourselves, to embrace technology, and to be pioneers. To put ourselves out there and maybe even occasionally brag a little. For me, over the last 13 years, ACEC has provided the tools to help in my transformation from an engineer to a business owner. These tools, along with the hundreds of people that I have met and learned from along the way, have been invaluable. I now look forward to transforming with you from hard problem solvers to messy problem dissolvers, to continue providing benefits to our companies and our communities and learning and growing together. Thank you all for this opportunity and for your support of ACEC Colorado. I look forward to getting to know you better this year and to help make a true impact on Colorado's consulting engineering industry with your help. Thank you to each of you for spending your morning with us today. We look forward to a fantastic 2020 and 2021 and look forward to seeing you at one of our virtual or hopefully in-person meetings soon in the months ahead. Please have a great weekend, and with that, we are adjourned.
Congratulations, everybody.